The King of Clients, Episode 7, The Financial Conduit. True peace is not merely the absence of tension. It is the presence of justice. Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Welcome back to The King of Clients. I'm your host, Ryan Johnson. In the last episode, we proved that the largest bank in America, JPMorgan Chase, deliberately chose to ignore over $1.3 billion in suspicious transactions. They chose profit over people. Today, we examine the consequences of that choice. We ask whether the American system believes that justice can be purchased, and if a simple check can erase a decade of moral complicity. Dr. King taught us true peace is not merely the absence of tension, it is the presence of justice. The settlements we discuss today offer the banks an absence of tension, but they are a failure to deliver the presence of justice. The financial reckoning for the banks came in two staggering settlements, totaling hundreds of millions of dollars. JPMorgan Chase agreed to pay $290 million to resolve the claims brought by dozens of victims, finally acknowledging that the bank's services were indispensable to the trafficking operation. JPMorgan Chase then paid another $75 million to settle the enforcement action brought by the U.S. Virgin Islands. And we must also remember that Deutsche Bank, which took Epstein as a client after JPMorgan Chase finally cut ties, also agreed to pay a $75 million settlement. This total of $440 million paid out by two banks is often touted as a victory for the survivors, and any compensation for the victims of the inventory of souls is a step toward making them whole. But this cannot obscure the moral truth. These payments were an immunity tax. To understand the bank's complicity, you have to follow the flow of money. The settlements confirm the pattern the banks ignored for years. Unsealed records reveal how the money flowed from the King of Clients right into the hands of his chief architect, Ghislaine Maxwell. Epstein paid Maxwell at least $25 million from his JPMorgan Chase accounts, including a massive one-time transfer of $19 million, payments that kept the entire operation funded. This, along with the millions in cash withdrawals that went to pay recruiters and victims, proves that the banks were the active financial conduit for a systematic criminal enterprise. They processed the money knowing that the destination was a moral void. The settlements bring us to the ultimate moral indictment of corporate power. When an individual commits a crime, say a bank teller launders $10,000, that person faces criminal charges, jail time, and the destruction of their personal freedom. When an institution commits a crime on the scale of human trafficking, the corporation pays a fine. There is no admission of guilt, no criminal indictment of the institution itself, and the penalty is paid by shareholders or insurance companies and not by the executives who engineered the cover-up. For the bank, the price of facilitating human trafficking becomes a simple line item on a quarterly earnings report. Justice for the elite means a fine. Justice for the citizen means jail. And the banks paid a fee to avoid a full moral reckoning, and the individuals responsible for overruling compliance warnings, like former executive Jess Staley, walked away with a confidential individual settlement. The settlements were designed to bring tension to an end. They bought the banks back their corporate peace. But we stand with the survivors and declare that this is not justice. It is a purchase of silence. The true presence of justice requires criminal accountability. It requires that the individuals, the executives who pushed back against compliance, they face the same legal jeopardy as the citizens they failed to protect. The financial conduit was shut down only after massive public pressure, but the criminal conduit remains protected. And the single most important piece of evidence, the full truth of the network, was lost in the greatest systemic failure of all. Next time, we investigate that failure. The moment the one remaining witness was silenced in a federal jail, ensuring the deepest truths were removed from the reach of the American court system. We look at the ghosts and the grid.